I'm laughing, I'm excited. It's nice. Hello, everyone. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Tom. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, back for the last episode on season 2, The Rising Phoenix. It is a human design podcast. It is a 6-2 perspective on the world. And this is the season 2 with the episode 4. And today we're going to talk about sex and money. It is very interesting to observe that sometimes we can put a very profound class like we had in a season 1. We had some very interesting class and very profound, and we had only 5, 6, 7 people show up on live. And at the moment we put a class on sexuality and money, everyone is showing up. Everyone is here, everyone wants to come for the live, everyone is signing up and registering. So it's just very funny. I find it cute. Anyway, welcome back again for everyone. My name is Benjamin, and today, as usual, I have the pleasure to be with Tom and Cheryl. We are the three of us, 6-2, visionary mystic, objective administrator. This is the 6-2 really. To remind you, Tom spent 25 years with Ra. It's been 27 years that Tom is in the design. Cheryl and myself, we around 5-6 years in the design now. And this is a podcast for you guys to learn, to discover more about your design, about what human design is, about what this system can do for us and what the system can bring for us, especially in this kind of in this time, in this very interesting moment that we are living on Earth. Before we start today talking about sexuality, money, love, how we have been designed to be loved, to love, to feel love, to experience love, to experience sexuality, and what's going to happen mostly in 2027, when we're going to hit the precession of the equinox and we're going to move backward to the 6th line, and we will move away from the cross of planning to the cross of the sleeping phoenix. A mutation is taking place here. So the way we're going to experience sexuality, the way we're going to, have sexuality is going to be very, very different. So before we go into this, we're going to talk about the transit today and just simply take a quick look on the transit. Welcome back again to, Cheryl and Tom. And do you guys feel saying something? Do you want to share something with us? No?
Not at the moment. Go ahead and let's do the transits, and there'll be plenty to share.
Okay, cool. Well, so if we take a look on the transit today, the sun is in gate 15, 3rd line. So today it's going to be a trail and arrow. So if something doesn't work during the podcast, well, it's the 3rd line day, Gate 15, modesty. The gate of the extreme. It started a few days ago. So maybe for the next few days, again, we're going to experience some kind of extreme. And this is a gate of love. It's the love of humanity. It's the gate of the extreme, out of the G center, pointing towards the sacral. The harmony gate is the 5th gate, the pattern. It is a design of being in the flow. It's the channel of the rhythm, a very powerful channel, one of the biggest channels that we can have in human design. So this is what we are experiencing at the moment, the extreme, finding a balance in the extreme, finding the balance for humanity to finally be able to love themselves, to learn how to live with one another, to learn how to be with one another. This is the gate 15. And what is very interesting when we have a look on the transit, we have this sun personality in gate 15, the earth in gate 10, which is another gate of love, the love of yourself, the self-love, the behavior. And then in the node, so the environment, we have again 15 and 10. So at the moment, we're truly, truly experiencing how maybe, let's put it together, but maybe how we can be ourselves, loving ourselves, and without any fear, of being ourselves and being with ourselves, to really stand on our 2 feet, comfortable with ourselves without any fear, and also being with the others. Maybe if I say it right, And it's kind of what we are experiencing. And it's also bringing, you know, awareness in the now. We have this channel of awakening, bringing awareness in the now through our behavior. Yeah. Anything else to add, Tom? Do you want to say something about the transit right now and maybe previously last week, or what is coming with gate 52, the gate of stillness?
Yes, of course, Ben. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the graphic here. It's very, very beautiful to see, and it's very, very illustrative of exactly the process that we are in. Mm-hmm. If you look, yes, we're in the 15th gate of modesty. People have a lot of different opinions about that word, what that word means, modesty. They assume that it means to be humble. It has no such meaning. To be modest is to be yourself, to be nothing but yourself. If you're trying to be something other than yourself, less or more, that's what immodesty actually is in terms of design and genetics. If we look at it, the modesty is sandwiched by stand still and keeping still. Isn't that intriguing? And notice that we have only two channels. This is a projected chart in the transits at the moment. The need to be recognized. This is all happening through this 61 and 24, returning to the inner truth to become awake. Isn't that interesting? Really quite something to see. You know, I really appreciate the graphic that you've put together here for us to be able to see this. This is the beauty of design. It's all in the seeing. It's the picture. It's all there if you know how to read one of these things. So at any rate, it is worthy of noting that we are all being asked to be human beings for a change instead of human doings all the time. We are being asked, if you look at what's happening here, you go from the throat to the furthest away gate, you've come to the 15. What is it looking for? It is looking for the 5. What is the 5 called? Waiting, waiting, waiting. Ah, what a beautiful thing for beings to do as opposed to doing, doing, doing. Everybody says they want to get back to normal. I tell you, normal is just a setting on the dryer. That's not going to do anything for you. You want to be still now. You want to pay attention to the downloads that are coming, this returning to the inner truth. Notice that all this is all very individual and integrative. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to get rid of the identity crisis that we've all been conditioned to accept and get back to the business of being modest, being ourselves. So beautifully stated, Ben, that we are here to learn over again, or to remember, shall we say, what human beings are and how to live with one another and how to get along with one another. Interesting, we're talking about money and sex, okay? I'm more interested in the sex aspect than the money, not because one's better than the other, but it's because sex is intimately involved with the possibility of love or not, okay? So what we were really trying to do is learn how to love ourselves as ourselves and to love others as themselves. This is a huge shift from the tribal bargain that has been going on for so long. I'll do this if you do that, you know, the bargain. We are going to connect to one another in a completely different way. Intimacy is very possible in terms of accepting what is coming. How can two not selves be in relationship? How can two people pretending to be something other than themselves actually meet one another? They call it socializing, right? We put on our mask and our costume and go out into the world and do everything in our power to make sure that no one can see who the hell we are. How can they call that socializing? That's as antisocial as anything could ever be. If you're being exactly who you are in the presence of another person, now, and this is exactly the training that we are going through, this shot over the bow about stay home, be yourself, get back to who you actually are. If you're paying attention to that, the rewards that are reaped are going to be incredibly beautiful. If you're not, you miss the boat. So that's my opening salvo.
Nice. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I always really enjoy, you know, observing the body graph and how we can tell stories by watching the body graph, you know, by watching the transit. As Tom say, If we start at the top, everything starts in the gate 61, which is the inner truth. And then we can slowly, going down and observing what's the story, at the moment. So the inner truth of, being awake here with this integration channel, integrating, on how to keep still. At the moment we are in gate 15. So it was, the gate of cautious before the gate 10. So it was all about being cautious on what we are observing, on what we are paying attention, so we can have our inner truth, and then moving into the modesty, as Tom say, here, the awakening channel, so we can stay still and, pointing to the fifth, which is waiting, the gate of the pardon. So it's always beautiful to observe the transit, and it is very something that I invite to all of you, to do. You can go on mybodygraph.com, you click on just now, it will put the chart of just now, so you guys will have the transit, and you can play around, you can observe how the body graph is telling us story, how, the program is really telling us stories. So it's very, very amazing to observe. Anyway, let's talk about sex, let's talk about love, let's talk about sexuality. Few things before we start. I really, I put a slide together actually this morning, like just an hour ago. I was just very busy doing nothing this week, so I didn't at all wanted to do anything. I just want to go to the lake and the waterfall. I will do the slide later. So I hope the slide is nice for everyone, but I think the most important is what we're going to say. I find this picture on Google. It says, manifest love. And I'm very amazed with this manifestation things. Everyone is trying to manifest love, manifest, but what does it mean? Something to recognize here is that love, it comes out of the G center. It comes out of the G center, G for geometry. It is a geometry. And if I have to put everything together, in a very sophisticated way, I will say that everything that exists is moving. According to science, according, to Albert Einstein, everything that exists is moving. And if everything is moving, life is about direction. Life is about navigation. Life is about, how can we navigate in this plane? How are we navigating in the universe? Because when you think about it, we are all together standing as individual on this giant rock, rotating around the sun and moving at the speed of light in the universe. So we are all, moving, we are all traveling. It's a direction. And the G center, it's about identity, love. And the not self of the G center is looking for love, looking for direction, So today we have all those human beings who can easily be lost in sexuality, be lost in love, seeking for love, trying to manifest love, trying to, to get love, when in reality, this is who we are. This is what we are. We are love. We are deeply, this is what we are, all together. And that's what we're going to observe today. That's what we're going to have a look. How are we designed to love, to experience sexuality? How are we designed to be love, to be love? So because we are love, right? So that's what we're going to have a look. When we have a look on the G center, we can see this is the home of the cross of the vessel of love, the home of the cross of the vessel of love. We have 4 gates of love in the human design. The gate 25th, which is the universal love here, the spirit, the spirit of the self, the higher self, the universal love, the love of it. It's really finding love, recognizing love in everything. I do have these gates, and I can tell you, I have so much love for my computer. I have so much love for my truck. I have so much love for a tree. I have so much love for a human being, a cat, whatever it is. It's recognizing the spirit that is living in anything, recognizing that everything is spirit. and it's a deep, deep, unconditional, universal love. And it can be sometimes a challenge with people because they don't understand why I can have so much love. You know, it's very interesting. So this is one of the gates. Then we have the gate 46, which is the love of the body. Um, the love of the body, the serendipity, being at the right time, at the right moment, in the right place. It is about recognizing that the body is a temple. I do have this gate as well. And I can tell I love the body, I love the flesh, I love observing the physical body. It's a temple, honoring the temple. Um, Gate 15, love of humanity. So this is the transit at the moment. This is what we are experiencing. And you know, gate 15 is the gate of the extreme. So it can be the love of humanity or the hate of humanity. I do have this gate as well. And I can tell sometimes I hate humanity. Sometimes I'm like, fuck everyone. Those humanity are stupid, you know? And it's also, you know, the love of humanity and having this desire of, you know, helping humanity to bring logical solution for everyone to live all together, you know, to be able to be all together living here, you know, accepting one another. It's the deep love of humanity. And then we have the gate 10. And I do have this one as well. I have the fourth gate of love in my design, but this is not my incarnation cross. And the love of the self, which is deeply, deeply about loving yourself. It's the gate of the behavior, you know, trading, knowing how to behave and knowing how to love yourself. So this is the 4 gates of love, and this is how we can express love, feel love in the design. Tom, Cheryl, do you guys have anything to say about the nature of those 4 gates of love that we can find in our design before we go into more sexuality, intimacy?
I always have something to say, but I would like to invite Cheryl to speak first. I'm a Southerner. Where I'm from, ladies always come first. If you want to pass, I will, but I feel the need.
Yeah. I have nothing really to share. I have this gate 46, and I know how it is to love your body. And I have observed many people around me having this gate, and these people, they tend to love yoga, love to do their hair, and I've noticed a lot of them love to decorate their temple as well with tattoos and piercings. So yeah, if that's something you've noticed. Ben, do you have tattoos?
Yeah, I have the 4 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, see, so that's something I noticed that all people who have gate 46, they love to decorate their temple.
Yeah, totally.
That's it.
Nice. Okay.
Tom, take it away.
Yeah.
Happy to do so. Okay, so Ben, thank you very much for mentioning the fact that love is actually a direction. If you're heading towards love, you're going the right way. Everything else is a detour. Careful of them detours. There really are only 2 things in the world in terms of emotions. You can describe them and call them anything you want, but there is love and there is fear. And they cannot coexist any more than light and dark can coexist. If you're being motivated by fear, well, you know what that feels like. If you're being motivated by love, you know what that feels like. All these gates, isn't it hilarious that this meeting was put off a couple of weeks for who knows what reason, all spirit led. And here we are sitting talking about love and sex with the potential to talk about money as well, but love and sex on a day in which the sun is in the cross of the vessel of love. Everything is about love. It's exactly why we are doing this today rather than 2 weeks ago or whenever it was originally scheduled. Okay? So the 25th hexagram, return to the innocence of the self. Be yourself. Modesty, love of humanity, love of yourself. 46, love of the body. Okay? This is a beautiful, beautiful thing, love of the self. Everything is about love. It is a direction. It is a way to go, a path to take. Anything else is ridiculous. And when the 2027 thing, tie that into what's coming. You know, we're going to the cross of the sleeping phoenix. But I tell you, it's not the sleeping phoenix in 2027. It's the waking up phoenix. And the waking up phoenix is going to be very, very different than the sleeping phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
The sleeping phoenix has this busyness in it. And they're usually busy about sex. Okay, which is all fine. There's nothing right or wrong about that. But I would submit to you that dogs can have sex. They do. So what? So what? We are moving to a place where it's more about love. It's a connection of love. Given the choice between love and sex, and believe me, I've had both. I've had plenty of both. I'd take love over sex any day. Any day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things in the world. There's love and there's the call for love. People that are in fear or acting out or misbehaving that would cause a response from our good man Ben, like, I hate human beings. They don't know what they're doing. Forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. It is a call for love. Not necessarily a call for sex, but definitely a call for love. You either are in love or you are out.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a beautiful thing to be able to see. There is
mm-hmm.
only fear and there is love, and you cannot have both at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I yield my time for a moment now, Ben, and but there's lots more to say about this. But at any rate, 27 is going to have a profound change in how we choose to connect with one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to say that it'll be the end of sex. It's not going to be the end of sex. If it's the end of sex, it's the end of us here on this world at some point pretty quick. But it is about love motivated as opposed to, I need you to assuage my fears, so let's make a deal. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I want to add, like, with what you say, because it's very, very, it's so spot on. It's so relevant. And I mean, you know, we spend time together, and I know this is everything is just about love. All the rest is a distraction. Everything else is a distraction, basically, you know. And the G center, when we have a look on the body graph, the G center is really in the middle of you know, the body graph, and G is a geometry, it's a direction. We are all, you know, moving in the universe with this direction, and we are all going to love. This is where we're going. It is a return of unity consciousness, a unity love consciousness. It is a return of the golden age. You know, Ra talked about the global cycle, but before Ra, the Egyptian, the Mayan calendar, and everything was talking about the global cycle. So it is a return to the love unity consciousness. And as Tom say, everything is a call for love. And with the gate 15 and the gate 25, I can really observe that, you know, it is either an expression of love or someone who simply doesn't know how to express love. So it is a desperate act to express love, you know, to show love. So when people, you know, can be angry, or, you know, they yell at you, they, you know, whatever, any other emotion that is not love, it is simply, you know, a desperate act. How can I express love? I don't know how to express love. So I'm going to be angry. I'm going to yell at you. You know, I'm going to create drama or create whatever. It is simply because those people they just don't have the keys. They just don't know how to express love. And it is a desperate act. I want to tell you that I love you, but I don't know how to do that. I'm so scared of telling you I love you. I'm afraid. This is basically what they are saying. You know, when someone is yelling at you, fuck you, blah, blah, whatever it is, unconsciously, this is the message that they try to say is, I'm scared, I'm desperate. I want to tell you that I love you. I just don't know how to say it. And it is here what has to be recognized, you know, and everything is about love. And as Tom say, I love this, but you know, the rest is a detour. So be careful of the detours that you are taking, you know. Yeah. All right, so let's have a look, because we're going to talk a little bit more, you know, on gate 25, the 46, the 15, the 10. Those 4 gates are really role gates, you know, they're really here to show us how we are designed, how we can express love here in life, you know, um, because it is all about direction, identity, recognizing that we are love, right? So here we have the mundane gates of love. Um, those gates are very interesting, and this is how we can express, this is how we can feel love, this is how we can connect to one another, this is how we can you know, extend the love. So we have gate 10 with the self-love through others, the mundane. We have gate 44, I have this one, which is the successful love, the love of the mutual success, you know. Up, let me, we have some people who want to join up. A second, wait. Here we are. Sorry. Up. Welcome to those who are joining up. So gate 44, the successful love. I was saying I have this gate is the love of the mutual success. Something to recognize if you do have these gates. For example, I really love when I'm with my partner and we succeed together. You know, she has her business, I have my business, and we're succeeding in our business, or we can have a common goal and we succeed together in something. And I feel very loved. I feel sharing love like this. Gate 40, earning love. I don't know so much about this gate. I don't have it. And I think Tom had this one. So maybe Tom, if you want to say something about this gate.
Well, it's my son. You know, 4037, channel of community. Mm-hmm. What is community other than unity and communication? Mm-hmm. The foundation of love, the foundation of any relationship. I find it so beautiful that we are talking about love before we talk about sex, because sex without love is just sex.
Yeah.
We've all done it. It is what it is, okay? But it can be something so much more beautiful than that. And that's where we're heading. We are moving out of the insecure first line background milieu into the sixth line milieu. This is not going to be about insecurity. This is going to be about being role models. This is going to be about being the best that we can possibly be, which is nothing more than being an extension of love. Mm-hmm. If you think you want to connect with someone physically, you better bring the love to the table before you get undressed. Mm-hmm. I mean, I find it so beautiful that we are, the title is Sex and Money, but we're talking about love right now, which is the very foundation of either one of those things being successful. Mm-hmm. And I love that you bring in the idea that successful love, okay? What did you say about it? Mutual. It is not a competition. This is not a battleground, okay? I mean, the hippies were right all along. Peace and love. When our maker walked on this world with us, I'm not a Catholic, by the way. Be aware that I'm a recovered Catholic. Jesus was not a Catholic. Buddha was not a Buddhist. Muhammad was not a Muslim. That's what monkeys do with truth, okay? They turn it into whatever they turn it into. That's a conversation for another time. But please understand, where we are going to is going to shift the emotions. It's not going to be a motor that operates in a wave anymore. It's going to be about emotional awareness. We're just hoping for clarity at this point. So I'm gonna shut it down for a moment and let Ben continue with this beautiful graph that he's put together for us, and then we'll get into talking about how this actually functions in a loving way. As you look at the sacrum, you're looking at availability. You look at the solar plexus, you're looking at drive or passion. These are the two things that drive us towards love and connection and procreation. So we'll get back to it. Carry on, Ben. You're doing a beautiful job.
Thank you. Okay, so simply gate 58, 41, 28, and 55. So this is different ways that we can feel love, experience love. The gate 58, the perfecting of the love. So it is loving the perfection, you know, putting all those little attention. I do have these gates, and for example, when it comes about perfection, you know, it is all about for me, putting all the little attention, I'm very someone who show a lot of attention, and all the little details, and bringing love in this way, the perfecting love. Gate 41, the dreams of love. I do have this gate as well. I have so much of them.
No wonder we love you so much, Ben.
Yeah. So the dreams of love, it's all about fantasy, and I'm someone who can be a daydreamer, and I do. It's like when I see a woman sometime, and walking in front of me, and it's a beautiful woman, I go in fantasy. It's the fantasy, it's the phantasm of love. I can straight go in fantasy, and having tons of dreams, and it's kind of funny. It's very funny, and it's very nice when we have someone that we can dream with. The gate 28, I think Cheryl have this one, the love with purpose. If you want to say something about it.
Yeah, this gate, it's part of the channel of struggle, and so it's like love and sex, it comes with certain struggles, and this gate gives you like the energy and the purpose to find the love in it, or the purpose in that love, or in this sexual encounter or anything. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Nice. And gate 55, eternally indecisive love, which is the gate of the spirit. Abundance is a question of spirit, and we're going to talk a lot about this one for the money part, because I believe money is only spirit. It's an abundance of spirit, and money is not the point here. But at the moment we have the right mindset, the right spirit, that we are aligned with what it means to be consciousness, passenger consciousness. We get the chance to see clearly that nothing else on this plane is lack. Everything is abundance. There's nothing else than abundance here. So that's what we need to recognize. All right, nice. Let's have a look on the stream of sexuality. I'm going to move everyone here on the side. All right. The stream of sexuality. So, okay, now we have an understanding a little bit more, on love. What is love about? As Tom say, having sex is nice. And I think we all experience this, hookup is nice. It can be fun. But at some point, we want something deeper. We don't want to do the shallow anymore. And a sex without love, it's not so good. It's not so good. But when there is love, it's beautiful, because it is a communion. Sex stands for sacred exchange of energies. Sacred energy exchange. That's what it is about. Sex is sacred energy exchange. So we're having an exchange. We pouring energy into one another. We're feeding into one another the energy, the sacred energy from spirit. So quickly, I think you guys cannot really see, but I thought it was nice to put it here. You can find this image on Google. I think if you just Google the stream of sexuality, you will be able to find the image. And that's few example, but we can see, for example, so gate 41, for example, the sexual hunger, the fantasy, that's what I was saying. I have fantasy sometimes, and sometimes I can really have this sexual hunger, love, hate. What else do we have? Like, for example, the gate 37, we have the sexual affection, the cuddling, honoring, or betrayed. We have the romance here on the 12, the sexual boredom on the 35. So it is interesting to have a look, based on your design, what do you guys have, and where, sexuality, where the emotions are, how it is operating for you. So that's something that I invite you to have a look. And I'm going to continue with the next slide. And the next slide, it is about understanding what's going to happen in 2027. So a change in our sexuality. And we're actually going to talk really about gate 59, which is the gate of sexuality. So in human design, we have 4 gates of love. This is where love is. This is how we express love. We feel love. the pure love, the 25th, 46, 15, 10. Then we have the gate of sexuality. It is out of the sacral here, the sacral pointing towards the emotion. This is the gate of sexuality. This is how we engage with sexuality here. It is here. And this is moving, it is changing in 2027. So the way we're going to engage in sexuality is going to be completely different. Tom, do you want to say something about this gate sexuality, the 59, and what is coming for us?
Well, the 59 is, once again, everything is a picture. It's all visual, which is so beautiful about a design chart. When, of course, as a student, you have to learn the notes and you have to learn the words before you can sing the song, okay? So there's always a discussion around the basics before you can take a ride, okay? But once you get to that point where you can actually see what there is to see, the 59 is an incredibly beautiful visual gate. What does it look like? It looks like an erection. That's exactly what it is. It's an interest. It says, I'm interested. But notice that what it's looking at is a gate of conflict. Everybody says, I don't want conflict. Excuse me. The only way you will ever have intimacy is your ability to resolve the conflict, okay? Which doesn't exist in actuality, but apparently it does. And the reason it apparently exists is because we all live in fear. Imagine if we were living in love. What conflict, okay? So bear in mind, this shift that is happening in 2027 is monumental in terms of how we are going to express sexuality, in terms of how we're going to express love, okay? But into me see, first thing you got to do is get the costume off. Get rid of the identity crisis. This is what the design tool is for, to get back to being yourself. What was Ra's last 2 words to everyone? He always said the same thing: love yourself. Can't love yourself, who the hell you gonna love? If you're loving a caricature of yourself because you've been told that that's what you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do, well, first and foremost, I would submit to you, what does the sound like coming out of a person who simply does what they're told by everyone else all the time? Kind of like, right? Herd animals. Bear in mind, animal behavior is going away for those of us who choose to be awake and aware in 2027. Those of us that are here discussing this right now are already making that choice. We may be strangers in a strange land, and we may be living in what other people call fantasy. And I say, well, maybe, but I prefer my fantasy to yours. I prefer the idea of peace and love to the idea of winning things on a battlefield. I prefer the idea of cooperating rather than competing with one another. You know, all this competition and fear, we are the only species on this world that actually pays to live here. Something to think about. Everyone else, every other species on the planet is simply bestowed upon them. Mm-hmm. And we live with this fear mentality that it's the survival of the fittest. It is not the survival of the fittest. They're challenging Darwinism at this point, and appropriately so. If you look at every other species, they don't kill their members of their own species. The only beings that do that is us. Killer monkeys. I'll never forget when Ra referred to us as killer monkeys. I was rather insulted. I was rather indignant. Mm-hmm. But then I stopped and thought about the fact there's 37 wars happening on this planet right now. And yeah, I guess we are. Okay? And the second most dangerous thing on the list of 10 most dangerous things to an upright biped is another upright biped. That should be sobering. That animal behavior, the business of protection of territory, the business of competing for resources that would be abundant for all. Mm-hmm. If we had our values correct, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, what is a rich person but a person that knows what they have is enough? The 55th gate, the opposition of the 59, the 55th gate. The glass is 8 ounces in capacity. It's got 4 ounces in it. Is it half full or is it half empty? Well, that's about your spirit now, isn't it? That's a question of spirit more than it's a question of how much is in the glass, correct, Mundo? So bear in mind, the vision, sixth line, the mystical keynote for sixth line beings, the vision of what is coming is the correct vision. The vision of what has been, history, the way it used to be, is what is going away. Congratulate yourself for being at any conversation about this, no matter who it's coming from. And it's coming from everywhere. Human design is not the only thing that's producing this. There's Course of Love, there's Course of Miracles, there's the Urantia Revelation. There's many tools to have in your tool belt. But design is remarkably helpful in helping us to get back to what? The innocence of the self. Love yourself. So that's a lot of discussion, but it's all connected to the 59th gate. This tactile tissue that's interested has to deal with the conflict that exists in our world today. We have to resolve the conflict. The moment two things get together and start rubbing together at a rapid rate of speed, you're producing heat. You better slow down or lubricate. And that's what we're all being asked to do right now. Slow down and lubricate. We are looking for the spirit, the correct spirit, by which to be human beings instead of reasonably well-behaved primates. We're here to be way more than reasonably well-behaved primates. Our origin may have been animal, our destiny is not. This is where we're heading. That's the 59 for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting what you said, and I should have put the incarnation cross of planning so we can see where we came from and to what we are going today. But when we have a look on the incarnation cross of planning, I don't know if you guys know, but it is the 4037. So this channel here, the channel of community. If we have a look today, you know, on a very objective view, how society is today. For those of you who read the book, The Celestine Prophecy, in the book, you know, he's talking about human beings are in competition to one another in terms of energy, because human beings don't know how to feed from source, you know, to receive the unconditional love from the source, you know, and returning to the innocence. So they are fighting one another to steal energy from one another, you know, so they can feel complete. The channel of community and the first line, it is all about bargain, you know, and the first line background frequency. So today we have all those men and women who are feeling incomplete, you know, they are like a sea and they are looking for the other half to be complete. So they are looking for the mate, you know, to complete them. And they are like, oh, I love you and you're going to give me this and I will give you that and I will feel complete and let's get married, you know. So we have this for almost the last 400 years. That was, you know, the marriage that was, okay, I take care of you, you take care of me, and let's be together forever. And we're going to love, you know, each other forever. That's kind of the movie that was happening. But today, because we're moving towards 2027, when we have a look, this is not going to exist anymore. As Tom say, you know, it's all about loving yourself. And the sleeping phoenix here, it's going to be, sorry, I'm busy, I'm taking care of myself. Sorry, I'm busy, I'm here to empower myself. So our sexuality is going to completely change because we're going to be more a cycle, you know, we're going to be a cycle. We're not going to be a sea anymore. People are becoming more and more complete with themselves. So there's no more need of, you know, this sexuality that, oh, feed me, or, you know, trying to be with one another so we can feel complete. No, we're really going into the gate 55, you know, here, and the opposition in the wheel, the 59. So our sexuality going to change, and we will be spirit, we will be abundance. And the way we're going to share sexuality, it will be through love. So we're just going to make love with one another without any attachment, without any fear of losing someone, or fear, you know, of jealousy, or fear of, oh, you betrayed me, or whatever it is. It's just going to be pure love, pure, you know, tantra, maybe, or pure exchange of energy. That's where we're going. That's my understanding of the 2027 and how our sexuality gonna change. Don't know what you think about this, Cheryl or Tom. If you want to add something. Oh, you need to unmute yourself. What? Oh, I did it. Can you?
I'm waiting for Cheryl.
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying. Like, we're going from the channel of community, the 4037, to a very individual self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the gate 59 then, and it's going to be in line 6, which is the one-night stand.
Yeah.
So we're going from this commitment, from union, like the marriage, to a one-night stand energy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I can only like fantasize about it. I have the gate 41 as well.
Yeah.
So I can imagine like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very different kind of experiences.
I feel it. It's not gonna, and we can already observe it. With all those generation people, the young teenager, who born in 2000, 2001, 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So the young generation, they are not interested anymore about finding one person, getting married, having children and a mortgage for 40 years and buying a car, and all of this to impress a neighbors that they really hate. This is all going away. There's no more point here. So we can already see like those people are really not interested anymore in this security, having an insurance and many credit cards and, insurance for the house, insurance for this, insurance for that. And the way also the interaction in sexuality is happening with one another. So we can really observe people are focusing more and more in themselves and learning how to learn to love deeply themselves, so they can actually have an amazing exchange, maybe a one-night stand exchange with someone, and fully empower themselves, empowering themselves through the abundance of love that is on this plane, and having a one-night stand, a sexual, beautiful, sacred energy exchange with one another. Yeah.
So
yes,
my
Tom.
comment about that is not to dispute anyone else's comment. My comment here will be to add to that. A point of view is beautiful as long as you recognize that's what it is. I have a point of view. If we add all our points of view together, we have a better view of the view. This is unity as opposed to separation. This is love as opposed to fear. So let's talk about the 4037. That's my sun earth. It's the channel of community. It's the channel of the marriage. Funny, the word marriage is the merry age. That's what it's meant to be. The merry age is not meant to be the nightmare that we have turned it into. But bear in mind, it is all based upon assuaging fear. That's the motivation. To be secure. Secure from what? That which you fear. Why do you fear what you fear? Okay? So if we look at this, this is not about the end of the family. This is about family going into a mutative process so that it will actually be family. Family for the average person has turned into a 4-letter word. It is a control cage in which they live. And it was based upon 2 people who were scared to death in the world getting together to deal with their fears. That fear is passed on to the children. Imagine that the fear is not existing anymore because we do not value ourselves monetarily. Money, nothing right or wrong about money. Okay? The question is that where you store your values? It's fine to have a tank full of gas if you're heading in the right direction. If you've got a very fast car with a tank full of gas going the wrong way, it's of no advantage, believe me. It's
Mm-hmm.
of no advantage. Look at the man who runs our country. We're not going to talk politics here. You think he'll ever be satisfied? His values are wrong. Okay? So we're not talking about the destruction of the tribe. We're talking about the tribe being based upon love and support rather than war and fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mutation of something. The highest institution, the highest human institution is that of the home. That's what it was intended to be, but that's not necessarily what it is when you have two not selves trying to communicate with one another about nonsense based upon fear.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the end of anything. This is the mutation of things. This is the gradual remembering of who we actually are,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to what we've been conditioned to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is the point.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so when we get into the business of talking about the mechanics of sex, which we may get to, if we recognize that we're coming from a place of actual love rather than a place of fear that needs to be assuaged, the whole conversation will be completely different in its value and meaning. You got to get off the battlefield, folks.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get away from fear.
We can even see the fear and the competition with the male, you know, when it comes about sex. For so long we had this fear, this competition. Oh, I need to have as much sex as I can with so many different women, you know, that was really present. And also something maybe to recognize, but again, it is the opposition in the will. Sexuality for men, a man can, you know, have sex only when he can, and a woman can have sex when she wants. You know, that's kind of the difference. A woman can always have sex whenever she wants, and a man can only have sex when he can, kind of. And that's what I can observe today. It's, you know, this fear for men to not being able to have sex or to have an intimacy, because it may be difficult for them to find a partner. But at the moment we enter into this opposition, so the mechanic, and to recognize that everything is just a question of spirit, it is an abundance, and the abundance is here. So the ability to connect on a sexual level, on an intimacy level, it will be here. It will always be an abundance, right?
Yes, look at the 46 hexagram. What is it actually called? Pushing upward into the kingdom of heaven.
Heaven, yeah.
Being in the right place at the right time. What's the opposition in the wheel? The 25th gate. As yourself. Don't be anything else. Be yourself.
Yeah.
All this competition to impress people. The only beings I'm interested in impressing, if I'm interested in impressing any beings whatsoever, are the beings that are responsible for my existence here. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I have a desire to be unpopular. I'm just saying I don't have a desire to be popular. If you're trying to be popular all the time, who's making your decisions?
The mind.
The beings that you want to be popular with. Mm-hmm. Well, there's the not self for you in its simplest form. If you're being correct in yourself, role models, hear me out. We have no need to lead, and we certainly have no need to be led. We have a need to be correct in ourselves, pushing upward to something greater than what we have been born into, getting rid of all of this nonsense that has been the modus operandi for so long.
And it is interesting that, like gate 46, you know, it's the love of the body, because you say, you know, it's upward pushing towards, you know, heaven. And at the moment we fully love ourselves, you know, with the gate 10, the love of the body. So we transcend and we're going, you know, to the heaven. So it's very interesting. It's like the ascension, you know.
Extremely well said. It is, the 46 is the gate of the love of humanity in the flesh.
Yeah.
But what's in the flesh? The human, the spirit.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a human spirit and an animal spirit? An animal spirit, as long as it's not currently being attacked, as long as it's able to feed itself, and as long as it's able to reproduce itself and have some pleasure, is content. Have you ever been completely and totally content based upon sex, food, what was the other one? Whatever it is, okay? No, we are driven by a perfection hunger. We want to be something more tomorrow than we are today, okay? This is the driving force. It's love, extension of love. Without that, what's the point in having a conversation about money and sex? I mean, what are we going to do? Just perpetuate what's been going on for eons? No, we're not going to do that. We don't even have a choice about that. The change is coming. You can align yourself to the change and love life. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. And everything that we just say, I'm pretty actually proud of myself with the slide, because it really goes like a nice, so everything that we just said, it leads us, emotions and money, and that's the conflict. It has been for so long the conflict, and as you say, people have been value the wrong things, and instead of recognizing that it is all an abundance. It's a question of spirit. So before we continue, I would like to invite everyone to really stand, open your chest, and we're just going to open our hearts a little bit so we can feel the love, flowing through our bodies. So I invite you to put your 2 feet against the ground, to really ground yourself, 2 feet, open your chest, pull your shoulders back, and take just a couple of breaths, and really relax your body. And so I'll just invite you, and we're gonna have this little nice music that I usually like to play, and you guys can hear it. So just close your eyes, and take a couple of breaths and feel simply love flowing through your body. Feel the abundance flowing through your body. So just put a smile on your face, and feel the love instead of the fear. Feel how, safe you are and beautiful you are. All right, big breath in for everyone. Big breath in. And big breath out. Exhale. Okay, nice. Welcome back. All right, so let's talk about the money. So now you guys gonna see why Tom, is always hesitant to talk about the money. And I remember Ra was really same, hesitating a lot about talking about the money. One thing that it's a point of view, and we're going to have many different point of views. So let's be clear, it's a point of view. But one way to be very successful and to make money today in our society, how do we make money? How can you make money? How can you be rich? If you want to be rich and all those kind of things, you make money out of the not self. You make money out of the not self. So now you see the point. You see why we were hesitating, before teaching this. But it is basically the way you can make money. The not self strategy of the open centers. We have 70% of the population who have an open head center. I mean, look at the world. Everyone is trying to sell you inspiration. Everyone is trying to sell you something that is inspiring for your life. Everyone is trying to inspire you. Everyone is trying to advertise and sell you a new car, new clothes, a new whatever, a new lifestyle, you should be that, you should be this, you know, all the not self of the mind. And this is how we make money. We have 65% of the population who have an open ego, open heart center. I mean, look at all those coaches selling you a 12 days challenge, a 3-month challenge, prove yourself, challenge yourself, you can do it, you can do more, you can be better. You know, all those kind of things. I mean, we make money out of the not self. You know, I have a heart center defined. I could be a millionaire, easy. You know, I go out and I tell people how fucked up they are, and I tell them inspiration on how they can prove themselves and be better. Improve yourself, be better. You know, and I'm going to put pressure on them and I will be a millionaire. Easy, easy. I mean, something to recognize here. This is how we make money. But obviously, this is not the correct way. At the moment, we recognize that abundance, you know, abundance is strictly a question of spirit. And the mind is all about measurement. The mind wants to measure, you know, the worth based on what we have, on how much I have on my bank account. If I have 1 million, I'm going to be worthy. But if I have only $10, I'm not worthy. Because it all goes back to love. If you have love in your heart, you don't need 1 million on your bank account. Because you know, abundance, it is a question of spirit. You know that you will have exactly what you need at the right time, the right moment, with the right person, because we are spirit. So universe will give you exactly what you need to experience here what it means to be human as a passenger consciousness. I mean, I'm already a millionaire. It's here. I have it. It's here. It is a question of spirit. It is all about recognizing that for so long, we have been deeply stuck into this scarcity, poor consciousness. That's why we are fighting one another for resources. That's why, you know, we have a president, not saying bad things about him, you know, who already owns half of New York, and he wants to have the other half, you know, because he feels insecure or whatever it is, you know. But that's what we need to recognize here when it comes about money. Tom, Cheryl, some things that you guys want to say? And by the way, you know, I'm not saying money is bad. I mean, I love money. And don't get me wrong. If you guys look at my chart, I have the stream of the capitalism. You know, I'm an entrepreneur, capitalist person. I love this. And it's part of who I am. But I know this is not the point. Tom, Cheryl?
I have nothing to share. Tom?
Yeah.
Money is a catalyst. What money is going to do is make whatever you're doing happen faster.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to do. You have so many people with so much money, they don't see that it's enough. They see lack.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many other people can hardly feed themselves. Money is nothing but a catalyst. If you're on your way to hell on a pair of roller skates, you're going to get there a hell of a lot quicker with money in your pocket. On the other hand, if you are connected to a mission of true value and motivated by high principles, what could be more useful than a tank full of gas and a fast car? Okay? So we should concern ourselves more with, in both sex and money, we should concern ourselves more with who we are and what's motivating us more than who we're with and how much we have. This is, as Ben says, this is not about the evil of money. There's as much evil in the lack of money as there is in valuing money improperly. But where does the lack of money come from? Valuing it improperly. It is a monetary value system. What does mono mean? One. Only concerned for itself. Sounds like ego to me. Whereas on the other hand, you know, these people that make money and then go out and want to put something back in the soil, a damn dirt farmer is smart enough to know that if he doesn't return something to the soil, he's not going to have good crops next year. You can't constantly extract. If you're giving to get, you're not giving. That's the bargain. I do this because you're going to do that. And if you don't do that, I'm not going to do this. What the hell? Where's the love in that? There's no love in that. Imagine business that was based upon high principles. I am wanting to share with and be paid for sharing with this product or service with you because this product or service actually improves my life and I want you to have the same improvement. Now that'd be a lovely world to live in, wouldn't it? But we live in a world where communists is get the money out of their hands and get rid of them as quickly as you can and go get the money out of someone else's hands. Total greed. Monetary value system. We need to take the ruler by which we have always measured things and erase every mark on that stick and not put any new marks on that stick that do not actually improve the state and the lives of all human beings. All of us. We're all on the same mud ball, being hurled through the same region of space at the same rate of speed. Who the hell do you really think you're going to get ahead of? And then when these people actually do get ahead, what do? Build walls around themselves. They build a prison to be safe in. Well, they're never assuaging their fear by that anyway. There's only one thing that will get rid of darkness. It's called light. There's only one thing that will get rid of fear. It's called love. How are we going to do this? Forgive them. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. If they knew what they were doing, they wouldn't be doing it. Now, on the other hand, if they did know what they were doing, and they were doing with high and beautiful principles, we'd all be living in paradise.
Yeah.
So they
totally.
can say I live in fantasy, and I say yes, and I enjoy my fantasy a lot better than yours. There you go.
Yeah, and I think also some things that I know how can I say, because I really want to give you some things that is very useful, you know, for all of you who are here on live and all of you who are watching the live recording on YouTube. Something to understand. We all have this struggle for money. You know, I mean, I do not, but a lot of us, a lot of, you know, people on earth do have this struggle for money, you know, do have maybe this fear, this concern, you know, how am I going to be able to pay my bills? How am I going to be able to do this, blah, 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 you know. Yes, it's the mind. So something to recognize, and this is going to be very profound, and this can really help you to shift around money. It is easy, and what is easy to do, it's also easy to not do. Let's be clear. There's no complex magical formula to understand why some people are successful and why others are not. It is about spirit. It truly is. It is about the mindset that you have. It is about your vibration. It is about the frequencies that you're putting out into the world. As long as you live as not self, as long as you are not self, your aura, if you're a generator, gonna broadcast a frequency of frustration. Your aura, if you're a projector, gonna broadcast a frequency of bitterness. As long as you're living not self, you cannot be in an abundance. You cannot. And Ra was very clear on this. And I heard from many different masters around the world. And I'm going to tell you a story that I had last night. It was actually very incredible to witness. But if you live your strategy and your authority, your life is perfectly financed. Perfectly. You have exactly what you need. At the moment you live your strategy and your authority, you're going to broadcast the frequencies that is satisfaction, that is success, that is peace, that is surprised, because what's ready for you, it's waiting. So basically your job here is to align yourself with what is ready, because what's ready for you is waiting for you to be ready. So are you ready? Are you ready to receive what's here for you? Are you ready to get what exactly is correct for you? As long as you stick in your mind, you're stuck in your mind trying to get things, trying to initiate or to manifest things, it won't work. I mean, how many people, how many coaches, and we go back to, I think it was episode 4 in season 1, when I share, the 4 basics. The first one is, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? And we have all those coaches who are trying to sell you a course, a seminar on how to make money, but they never achieve anything in life. And the only ways that they make money is by selling you a course on how to make money. So we have all those people selling you an inspiration on how to make money. And what you do is you go to those seminars, and you write down your goals, and you scream, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, or whatever it is. I'm a millionaire, and you try to manifest, and you exhaust yourself trying to manifest because you think this is what you want. So there's something to recognize here in the manifestation process, something to fully recognize. You don't want what you think you want. And money is not the problem. Money is not the issue. Because believe me, if I give you $1 million right now, you will still create the same problems because you don't have the right mindset. You don't have the right spirit. So money is not the answer. It isn't. It's not. It's really not. And I know this. It destroyed my life. It made me feel miserable to the point I let go on everything. And now I feel way more lighter, and now money is coming back again, but in a different way, in a way that is more correct for me. I'm using my design. So another key for you here, if you want to make money and be correct, I mean, I do have a heart center defined in my design. What I can do is helping people to recognize that they have nothing to prove and to help them to recognize their own value. So I can make money out of this center by teaching people, hey, look, there's nothing to prove. You're already enough. I can help you and I can show you how you can feel enough. How you can let go in your mind trying to tell you that you need to prove yourself. And one exercise that I can give you right now, write it down, and you will do this exercise later, is to actually write down on a piece of paper with a blue pen, 100 reasons on why you are worthy. And you don't stop until you have your 100 reason. It's what I call the 100 stop. You're gonna stop one value, one reason at a time, why you are awesome, why you have value, why you are beautiful, why you are enough. And you break through your mind. So you're gonna write down, oh, I am beautiful. I know how to cook. I'm a loyal person. I'm a good friend. I'm generous. Whatever it is, you need to find 100 reasons why you love yourself, why you're enough, why you're good. Just break through the mind. So see how you can make money? I mean, and last night I went for the solstice. I went to a friend's house here in Mount Shasta in California. We were sitting outside on a terrace watching the stars, and it was those two beautiful women, beautiful goddess. And one of them is a master, a tea master. And she's a 5-1 generator, emotional generator with an open throat, like me, completely open throat. And what she's doing today is traveling the US and offering tea ceremony. And it is a silence tea ceremony. She's making money out, of her open throat on showing people the power of being in silence. the power of being in silence. Open throat. She doesn't need to attract attention. She's not even talking. She has all the attention that she wants by simply remaining calm and silent and serving us the tea. We drink the tea for 2 hours and a half, 3 hours. I cry for half of it because I was witnessing someone who is so beautifully embodying what it means, you know, to have an open throat, to be silent, to serve the tea. It was beautiful. So that's another thing that I wanted to share with you. You know, we make money out of the not self, but if you can change the way the not self is operating, someone who have, for example, you know, an open spleen center, if you have an open spleen center, you can teach people, hey, you know, I'm going to show you how you can let go on things that is not good for you. I can help you to recognize, for you to see what's not good for you and how you can just simply let go on this. Someone, a projector, you know, can tell generators, hey, see, my business is to show you how enough of being stupid. Enough of being stupid, you know, doing things that you hate and getting frustration all the time. So you guys can play around, have a look on your body graph, have a look on what is open and change the way you see it. And this is how you can make money. Yes, Tom.
Wow, Ben, you're lit up like a Christmas tree today, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so any of you that think we are not laying a beautiful foundation for the 10,000-story building that we are going to build around sex and money is missing the point here, okay? You have to have a foundation that is solid, that is true before you build anything. So we haven't gotten around to talking about the mechanics of sex or the mechanics of making a living yet, because we need to establish a beautiful foundation. Mm-hmm. Who here hasn't eaten, has everyone here eaten an artichoke? And you're going to say, why the hell are you asking about artichokes? Because when you eat an artichoke, you have more of it when you're done than you had when you started. It's a beautiful example of how love actually works. If your motivation is love and service to humanity, you will be paid in more ways than greenbacks or whatever the money is in your area. You will find yourself being incredibly happy. Somebody asked John Lennon, and said, John, what do you want to be when you grow up? He says, I want to be happy. He says, John, I don't think you can understand the question. He says, I don't think you understand life. Would be better to have an absolute understanding of what our actual goals are and what we actually are here, rather than to operate upon this identity crisis that's been handed to us and perpetuate the same old crap. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't mean to preach, but it is Sunday. Reverend Tom's got a thing or two to say, and so does Reverend Ben, and I hope all the rest of you have something to say, and a new way to say it. It's not that money is evil. It's not.
No.
It's not. It's not that sex is a bad idea. It's not. It's beautiful. If you go into it as yourself with high principles and high motivations, I have literally vibrated as if my finger was stuck into an electric socket making love to a beautiful woman. And I've done that many times. This is not fucking people. This is making love. There's a difference. Animal behavior is fucking. Anybody can do that. Making love, you walk away with it like the artichoke. There's more of it than what you gave or what you ate or what you consumed. You're making it. That's why I call it making love. So you know the worst part about being an atheist? Nobody to talk to when you're having an orgasm. Oh my God. Why do you think we say that? Why do you think we say that? Oh my God, oh my God. How many times I've said, oh my God. Because we are approaching what our inheritance, get the word, inheritance on this world actually is. By letting go of a value system that is based in animal fear, moving to a value system that is based in actual community made of human beings. Isn't it interesting how every conversation we start with somebody is, what do you do? What do you do? Well, I clean portalets for a living. You want to keep talking about it? Mm-hmm. And by the way, if I don't do my job, your marriage is not going to smell very good. I mean, what is all this establishment of value where value doesn't exist? The man or woman that walks by their children running out the door to go do something they can't stand to do so that they can gold plate the rims on the fourth car they own that they don't even drive in this gigantic house that these children are miserable in. Why? Why? It's time to get back to the spirit. To love oneself, you return to the innocence of the self. You are pushing upward into a higher place than you were put in. Call it heaven, call it whatever you like. You are awake and aware as to what your actual behavior is. The 10th gate. I'm just going through these 4 gates that we started with. The 15th gate, the actual love of humanity. Not in the flesh, just the love of humanity. That's what it's all about, folks. And if we build on that foundation with our discussion about sex and money, then we got somewhere to go. And if we don't do that, we've already been there. We're not going anywhere. And I tell you, there's no choice. The change is coming. You can choose to be a part of it, or you can choose to be run over by it. But it is coming, in spite of any contrary evidence. What are 6-2s? Role model hermits, separate from the call unless it's a good call. This is a good call, folks. Get the foundation straight, then all your efforts will be beautiful and productive. Because like John, you'll end up being happy. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Nice, thank you, Tom. Yeah. Cheryl, do you have anything to say about this? No?
No, I have nothing to add.
Thank you. So yeah, that's what I wanted mostly, to say about the money, the emotion of money. It is very simple things, as I said, there's no I'm not going to give you a formula, do this and do that and you will be a millionaire. No, it's really to recognize the abundance. It's a question of spirit, and a very good book that I recommend and invite you guys to read is Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, Abraham Hicks. It's a very good book, and it is all about feeling good. It's all about paying attention on your vibration, on your frequency. It is all about paying attention on what is here for you. And combining both with human design, it is something that is very beautiful. Ra used to say in the money course, again, if you live your strategy and your authority, your life is perfectly financial. You have enough, you have exactly what you need. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, for those of you, who run your own business, recognize you can make money out of the not self, but don't be not self. Use it correctly. Use the wisdom of open centers. If you have an open G, I have one of my clients, she has an open G center, total open G center. And she created a business helping people to clean the space. So she goes to people's house and she feels the environment and she helps them to move around, like doing the feng shui, things like this. And it is beautiful because it is helping people to have a better environment for them. And she's making money out of this. There's so many ways we can make money. Just observe how, the keynote of the not self and turn it around and turn it in a nice way. One more thing I want to share, the material versus the mystic way. That's the material stream. Here we have the channel of money, the stream of the capitalism, the entrepreneur. That's just some things that I wanted to show you guys. And this is the mystical way. I couldn't find only one picture like this, so I put those two together. But yeah, here we have the capitalism. Here we have someone who can be interested into, entrepreneur, into making money. I have the 4426. Yes, I'm very interested into, capitalism and entrepreneur and making money. But again, we can be correct on making money and give back. And here's the little mystical way, this is the mystic. It starts here in the roots and it goes to the awareness of I am now aware, Yes, Tom.
Thank you so much, Ben, for putting the material way and the mystical way on one graph that we can look at and see. You do such a beautiful job with this. Okay, so you have the 54, the marrying maiden, needing duration. Okay? Well, this is called transformation. Transformation is necessarily a material way if you are a material being, okay? But transformation is not limited to your material. Transformation is the actual changing of the form. This is what is coming in 2027, the change of the form, not the destruction of the form, the improvement of the form. Let's look at the next channel, the 4426, the gate of alertness, okay? What's it alert about? By the way, it's worth mentioning all the gates in the spleen are gates of fear. But that's not a problem. We're not talking about fear. It's the fear of getting hit by a bus that causes you to look both ways before you step out into the street. It can be a prerequisite for awareness and survival. Mm-hmm. So fear serves a purpose, but when fear is out of control and that's all there is, well, that's a whole different story. So the fear of failure in the 32nd gate doesn't mean you're going to be a failure. It means you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that you're not. It's called continuity. And the only thing that is constant is change. Now, when you get to the 4426, what is this? The channel of the transmitter. We are transmitting a better way. It's coming out of the spleen. To survive, we are transmitting a better way for human beings. Well, if you stay in the tribal area here, in the material way, you can become the king and queen for doing that. You can be a good king and queen and you won't be usurped. You can be, you allow people to live on your land. They give you a percentage of what it is and you protect them for it. Okay, but that's the old way. It's a tribal way, but it's good. It's, like I said, transformation is necessarily material to start off. Hard to thank the deities for your predicament. If it's cold, you're hungry and dark and don't know what to do. So the material way is a necessary and beautiful way, but it is not just material. If you look at the other side of it, you see in the mystical way, these are the mirror channels. The 1949 is a mirror to the 5432. The 4037 is a mirror to the transmission. Okay, but notice when you get to the ego, the heart, the will, you have a shift of going through the channel of materialism to be a materialist and saying the 51, the gate of the gallbladder, listen to the gall in this. Enough of this tribal bullshit. I've had enough. You hear the gall speaking? Enough of this warfare. Enough of this bloodshed. I've had enough. And so the 51 says, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. This is the fuel for the initiation process, that of the priestess and the priestess, the priest and the priestess, okay? Initiation, the desire to be first. The desire to be first to do what? What's the
return
10
to innocence?
Yeah, innocence, exactly. In the 1020, what is that? Awake. The desire to wake up to something higher, okay? So the 51 says, I'm out of here. I've had enough of this fighting on the battlefield. And when it gets over to it jumps into the direction, remember what we said was in the direction? It's all love. It's all love. It's all about direction of love. That's what it is. The Sphinx gates are all about a direction. The vessel of love is all about love. We're talking direction here. I'm tired of this animal existence. I'm out of here. And then when the ego gate gets to the 25, it says, I made it. I made it. And the 25 says, you did what? Hear the innocence in that? You did what? So here you are now in the 25 in what we were actually designed to be, accepting our inheritance because we rejected what was handed to us. We asked for God and they gave us a priest. We asked for chocolate mousse and they gave us shit. You get tired of that after a while. Hear that 51, the gate of shock? Remember, this message came through a person on the cross of the Clarion, okay? The 5157. Shock to what? 57? Awareness. Shock to awareness. I'm shocked to awareness. When you're shocked to awareness of what's been going on and you make a different choice, what do you become? Contemplative of your own behavior. What is it called? The channel of awakening.
The contemplation in the now.
Yes, yes. Contemplation of my own behavior in the now. Look at the world. Aren't we all being asked to observe the results of our behavior? All this misogyny, all this racism, all this greed. What has it brought people? Look at the world. Look at the world. It's time to change that by going through initiation, by becoming awake and aware of who and what we have been versus awake and aware to who and what we know we should be and want to be. Return to the innocence of the self. When the gallbladder sends you out of the world, where does it put you? In the innocence of the self, which is why their response to you saying, I made it, was you did what? They have no idea about that. One of the greatest discussions about atheism is what God could possibly observe this crap. Well, you know what? He doesn't observe this crap. It doesn't happen where he is. This wasn't his choice. This was our choice. And we need to choose again, which is the point of design. Choose to be modest. Choose to be yourself. Choose to be motivated by love. Choose to be responsible for who and what you are in the world for yourself and others. That's called awakeness. What most people like to call enlightenment. And the unfortunate part around enlightenment is, I used to say it, and it's very funny. He was quite a character. Stupid before enlightenment and stupid after. Unless you have actually gone through the transformation. Is your form different? You're not here to be locked into the form because you are incarnated in a form. You are here to learn what works in form and what doesn't work in form and to move along that transformation. It starts off as a monetary process, necessarily so. It does not end as a monetary process. That's the mystical way. It is becoming awake. It is becoming, let's don't use the word happy, because happiness has some hooks in it. Happy, I'll be happy if. Let's use the word joy. Joy is not result dependent. Happiness is result dependent. Joy is something that just wells up in you because you love yourself. That's why you left the world, as the world was given to you. Now, what is our job? Cross of Eden, to bring paradise back to this world. That's what these people born on the cross of Eden are all about. To bring us back to what we were actually intended to be, rather than what we have been conditioned to be. Don't mean to sound preachy, but the truth is beautiful and it will set you free. And I'm so glad, Ben, that you put the material way and the mystical way up. It's not that they're in competition with one another. It's that one is a start and the other is a result.
And we can see, and we can even, we can even see the evolution, like out of the spleen, when it goes into the gate 44, it's a mundane of love. It's a gate of love, and which is the mutual success, the love of the mutual success that will brings, to the heart, the will to have the control for resources for the tribe. So yeah, it's not a competition, as you say, but yeah, it's fascinating to observe and to be able to read like this, the chart, right?
So beautiful. And the reason we are having this conversation, 90% of what I've said in this group of people, I've never said to anybody else. I'm saying it because you're 6'2s.
Mhm.
You don't have any trouble hearing this. You may have some resistance to it, but you can certainly hear it.
Mhm.
We are the first. We are not the only. We are the first. We have no need to lead. Someone who has a need to lead makes a terrible leader. There are plenty of examples of it. I won't give any names. Someone who has, I need to lead, makes a terrible leader.
Mhm.
Someone that is correct in themselves based upon high principles, not monetary values, but multitary values. Is what I'm doing for money actually a service and a product that is helping people live better lives? Beautiful. Carry on. Okay, this is what we are doing here. We start as animals. Our destiny is not animals. And to drop the animal behavior and the animal fear and to be the loving human beings that we were designed to be. There is nobody that has a design that isn't a beautiful design if they are being that. So there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, nice. Cheryl, do you want to say something about the material plane or the mystical way? Anything you want to?
No, I have nothing to share.
Do you want to share something about the projector? How do you, something, you know, for maybe projectors when it comes about money and success?
Yeah, of course. It's all about strategy and authority. It's all about the invitation.
Mhm.
And I know it's hard. It's difficult for the projector to make money because we don't have, full energy to work, especially in a world that's made for the generator, a 9 to 5 job. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Mhm.
But if you keep following your strategy and authority, if keep getting invited, if you're out of a job now as a projector, just listen to the invitations. Listen what type of invitations you're getting. Like if people are saying something, you're good at something, start doing that. Don't try to attract the clients. They will come to you. If your product is good, what you're offering, it will sell itself. So don't worry about that. And the more you, and this is for everyone actually, the more you keep following your strategy and authority, the more of less of a fear you will have about making money, because money will come to you when you need it. That's the abundance. That's for me. I'm not making a lot of money. Every time I need something, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I remember it. Yeah, I remember it's something you told me. I think it was like almost 3-4 years ago. We were talking about the money, and you were just keeping repeating me. Ben, just follow back. Your strategy and your authority, and I can really say it by following really my strategy and my authority. I really get rid of the fear of lacking. The fear of not having money anymore, and money is always coming back to me, and I'll always have enough. And sometime, I don't know if I can say it, but I want to say it. Sometime I enjoy just sending a bit of money to Cheryl because she's helping me, and I want to gift her.
Yeah.
So I send her money sometimes. Yeah. So, and this is how I find
that's great, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, it's and it's very amazing to observe this. And just yes, Tom want to say something. Before Tom say something, I want to add if there's any projector who are looking at the live today, or the YouTube recording, I really invite you to check with Cheryl. I will share her details. She put a very beautiful projector course together. So she's really teaching projector with Rose, beautiful business entrepreneur woman projector. So 2 projectors are doing this amazing course. So I invite you to check it out. Yes, Tom, you want to add something?
Yes, I want to carry the projector banner for a while,
if
I'm allowed to do so, and I guarantee you that I am allowed to do so. If you see my chart, you will notice that 70% of who I am, my authority, and my moon are all in a projected element. Yes, I have 4 motors and I'm a manifesting generator, okay? But 70% of who I am is in a projected element. So projectors have had it rough for a while. So is everybody else. But the projectors are going to be relieved tremendously, because when this value system comes crashing down, what are people going to be doing? They're going to be looking for guidance. And that's why our projectors are here. And projectors will rise to the top, not because anybody's going to the bottom, but because we will be in need of guidance. And projectors and reflectors are going to be those guides. I'm a bit of a hermaphrodite, folks. 70% of what I am is a projector. I'm a total quadrite. I'm nothing but receptive. That's how I got to design. I was pulled to this. I was called out. I wasn't interested in this. It came to me. And why did I do it? Because I felt recognized by it. 70% of who I am is in need of being recognized, just like any other projector. So I don't want projectors to pull out any violins and play sad songs for themselves. If you're going to do that, so are the manifestors and the generators, and we're all going to be in a big pity party, okay? I don't say that to be non-compassionate. It is actually coming from a place of compassion, because I know exactly what it is to be both. I know what it is to be a manifesting generator. I also know what it is to be a projector. I probably know more about what it is to be a projector than I know what it is to be a manifesting generator, because a heck of a lot more of me is in a projected element. So 3 cheers for the projectors. And when the projectors are recognized, when I'm recognized, I got 3 motors running in my favor that are not running when I'm not recognized. I know what that feels like. When things change, people are going to be in need of guidance, and they are not going to be willing to accept the guidance of fear and insecurity. They are not going to go to Varanasi, India, and talk to Swami Tukargaraji to find out what they're going to do. They're going to talk to their projector neighbors, and they're going to say, I get the feeling you know something that I would benefit from knowing. Would you please share that for me, and watch what happens to your energy? It is not that you do not have energy. It needs to be recognized before it functions properly. And who the hell wants to function improperly? You're projectors. Not only do you have a profound need for recognition, you have, because of your openness, a profound ability to recognize. That's why you're so uncomfortable. You recognize the pile of shit we live in that's called this world, and the motivations that are handed to us. It's uncomfortable. People that have emotional and psychological so-called problems in today's world, I say that's a sign of your emotional and psychological health. You see what's wrong. You see what's wrong. And you're going to be in great demand to help people to right it, to turn the upside down world right side up. It's coming soon. It's already coming.
Nice.
I'm so excited to wake up projectors to the truth of what is coming their way, and reflectors to being functional as reflectors. These are going to be the guides. Get to know your projectors. Look at their chart. Speak to them with the knowledge of that chart, and watch what happens to them. Like Ben, they're going to light up like a Christmas tree, if not like a solar orb, because they are finally recognized. They're here to be our guides. Recognize that. Recognize them. They'll help you a lot.
Nice. Thank you. All right. I think it's going to be almost 2 hours. I think we're pretty good for today. Few things that I want to add before we end the live recording, the live. If you guys want to stay after, for the question answer, you're very more than welcome. But let me end with this. It's all about, loving yourself, and always go back to the basics. love yourself, follow your strategy and your authority. When it comes about sexuality, we can observe that projectors are way more into tantra. They are way more into tantra and sensuality and touch and these kind of things than generator, who have been way more into the pure act of penetration and sexuality. But it is changing as well. We're going into something that is way more recognizing the spirit of the self, and the gate 46 with the love of the temple, so really honoring our vessel and the spirit that is within. And when it comes about money, well, it's all about following strategy and authority. The projector, waiting the correct invitation. The generator, it's all about engaging your energy properly. And again, the only the mind, the not self, is interested into making money. My true self doesn't give a fuck about it. My true self only wants to uh, bike naked at the Burning Man. That's it. That's what my spirit wants to do, and that's what I'm going to do next week, actually, going to Burning Man and biking naked. That's going to be very nice. So when we have a look on a generator, the generator, it doesn't matter how much it makes an hour, how much it makes an hour. It can be 10 cents, it can be 10,000. If it's not satisfying, it's not the point. There's no reason to do something, so generators are mostly working for satisfaction. If you work for money, you screw. As a generator, if you work for the money, you screw. You're going to waste your time. You're going to end up being a slave. You're going to end up deeply being a slave and working for money. That's something that really doesn't bring you satisfaction. And then guess what you get? The illusion. And you're trapped into an illusion because you're doing something that you hate. You don't using your energy correctly. You get a big paycheck. And the big paycheck, it's what keeps you in the slavery. Because with your big paycheck, you can go spend your money with shit that you don't need, and you trap into the illusion. No, so really pay attention to this. It's not about how much we make an hour and how much we make every month or every year, but is it satisfying to you? And for projector, it's not about working hours and hours, again, end up like a slave, a workaholic. No, it's about recognizing that if you follow your strategy and your authority, you will be successful anyway. The success will be here. That's what you have been designed for, to be successful. So very important to recognize those two things. And it's the same with, love and sexuality. It's all about love. It will always be about love because that's what the universe is about. And that's it. All right. So thank you. Again, this was myself, Benjamin. I'm a 6-2 generator, a left angle cross of the prevention. So I really enjoy preventing people. My Facebook, Ben Lifechanger. My Instagram, Ben-Lifechanger. The website, Ben Lifechanger. If you guys, feel the call to come work with me, living your design or working on energetic healing, breathwork, shamanism, please feel free to, to contact me. This is Cheryl. It was Cheryl with us today. She's a 6-2 projector, a splenic projector, the left angle cross of the mask. She's very good at recognizing when you play a role, when you play a mask that is not you. So she will really call you out of your bullshit. I can tell she's doing this with me. and it's a gift. It is a gift. So this is her Facebook. You can find her Human Design Experience. If you guys are projector or not, because it's always nice to be guided by a projector. I really invite you to, to be in touch with her. That's how you can be in touch with her. And Tom, this is how you can be in touch with Tom. He's a 6-2 manifesting generator, emotional left angle cross of migration. So he can really help you if you feel lost, in your life, not knowing where to go and what to do. He can really give you a very good direction. That's his email. So email him. That's the best way to contact Tom. If you guys feel the call to have readings, to go deep into your body graph, Tom is extremely good at this. Again, that was the Rising Phoenix podcast, a 6-2 perspective on the world. Be correct for yourself, you know, and to all of you out there who are watching us on YouTube, love yourself. You know, this is the point here. As Ra used to say, and it's funny because I always say this before I know human design, um, I want to love myself. That's what I was saying. So love yourself here. All right, Tom, do you want to say something else before we end?
Yes, I do. I would like to, for just a moment, talk about projectors one more time, and then another topic, and then I'm going to stick around, and anybody that can stick around, we'll do some questions and answers and further into it. First off, this was a class called Love, Sex and Money. And Sex and Money was discussed in its truest form. We can talk about sex and money in a very specific form based upon design. And I think that that will probably, you know, it's been shelved right now. It hasn't been shelved. We've built a foundation for that incredible conversation.
Yeah, totally.
Okay? I mean, what an incredibly beautiful thing that our makers made all that such a high pleasure for us. That's why we say, oh my God, we are giving thanks for that incredibly beautiful thing. We are not the highest beings in the universe, and yet we are gifted with creative prerogative. In the highest form of, to reproduce ourselves, you know, creative prerogative. Not mighty messengers don't have that. I mean, there are all these incredible beings throughout the universe that are way more advanced than our human existence. They can't recreate themselves, we can. That's interesting that we are given this incredible creative prerogative. Imagine if that creative prerogative was given in a home where there was resonance and harmony of true selves. How would those children grow up? How would the world shift? This is why we are having these conversations. We can talk about the mechanics of sex and more than the mechanics of sex and more than the mechanics of making money. We can talk about how to do that in its exalted state rather than as animals fighting on a battlefield. So we can have that conversation. It's quite beautiful. Very quickly, you look for availability in the sacrum. Think of it, sacrum, connection to the word sacred. The ability to use that procreative energy is a high sacred gift. If it was seen as such, and children were made in conscious conception rather than what most of us are called, oh, mistakes, you know, whoops. We're not mistakes, or maybe, you know, maybe they thought they were making a mistake. But the point being, there is a very beautiful way to do all this. Anything can be sacred or anything can be profane. Rape and making love are the same act involving the same two creatures with incredibly different motivations and principles. So we can take this inkling, this slight taste of the pleasure that we have been given and raise it to a level above and beyond anything you can imagine. See the beauty of the gate of fantasy? To imagine something better is the first step towards getting there. Okay? Yeah. So the conversation about the sexuality is huge. We could spend 4 to 8 sessions doing it, okay? Because it's so individual and it's all given in the chart. When you look at the gates in your sacrum, you see what kind of availability you have, what requirements are there in order for your availability to be used, or shall we say, made good use of with another person. Then you can enter into that correctly as yourself and have an incredibly beautiful experience instead of what we are so used to, okay? So yeah, you have availability in the sacrum, in the solar plexus, which is going to start functioning, thank God, okay? When the solar plexus is functioning, the passion, those 3 streams that Ben showed us, okay? The tribal stream, the collective stream, and the individual stream, they determine whether you're going to have the passion for the commitment you made with your availability. You can get anybody to say yes once. It's called a one-night stand. Well, you can get a lot of people to say yes once, okay? But if you want them to keep saying yes, there's got to be a passion in that. If you know how to do that. Quick example, the 9th hexagram, gate of details. Somebody who has the 9th hexagram in their sacrum, you got to have the music right, you got to have the lighting right, you got to have the flowers right and the right vase, and your lovemaking is going to be beautiful. It's all about the details. What does that take? Time to get to know the person and know their details are important to them and provide those details. That's what makes them available. Imagine, I mean, there's a black magic in this. I mean, you can look at a person's chart and I can tell you exactly what will make her say yes or make him say yes one time. But then you go to the solar plexus and you look at the gates there and the streams that are there, and you can say, well, this is how you can sustain that person's willingness to be available. And if that's all based in resonance or harmony as opposed to dissonance, you're on your road to somewhere really beautiful. Doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going the right way. If you email me, I'm slow about it because I got a lot of things going on right now. You're not being ignored. You're being asked to wait. Aren't we all being asked to wait? Only half of the manifestors in the world, 3.5% of the people in the world are not supposed to wait. Even a manifestor who's emotionally defined has to know the beauty of waiting. We're human beings, we're not human doings. It's about waiting for all of us. So don't be upset by the fact that you have to wait. It'll be worth the wait. I'm starting to get to that list, but I got a lot going on right now. Myself personally and in the world and blah, 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 and enough of that. Okay, so.
Thank you.
Conversation about how sex, lovemaking could actually work beautifully in your world is available. But it's very personal. In a group setting like this, we're talking general information, and it's only going to apply generally. The moment you do a sexual profile reading on a person, they're going to go, oh my God, have you been looking in my windows for the last 25 years? I said, yeah, I'm doing so right now. Okay? You can see how it works. If these things are matched up, finding the soulmate, finding the perfect person. Number one, first, you got to be yourself to do that. If you're not being yourself, that's impossible. If you're being yourself, you at least have a chance. If you've got resonance or harmony, that's happy hunting grounds. It's not a guarantee, but it's happy hunting grounds. There is a way in which all this works. It's beautifully orchestrated, but it is also exceedingly personal. If I sit here and do Cheryl's chart, it's only going to be meaningful to Cheryl. It will not be meaningful to anybody else unless they have the same gates. It's all very gate specific and line specific. So bear in mind, the sexual profile is an incredible thing, like a mystical profile. It's an incredible thing. But it also is very personal. Not in the sense that you would be ashamed for someone else to hear it, but in the sense that it would only be meaningful to you. Okay, so that's enough. Anybody wants to stay behind? I think we're going to take a little break for a while. And I love.
Yes. My 55 is waiting for the break.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, break.
Break. 88 minutes is our attention span, folks.
And it's been 2 hours, so I know that I can't pay any more attention after an hour and a half. Yeah. I'm like, okay. All right, so cool. So that was for us. If you guys want to stay in touch, and thank you very much for everyone. That was the season 2. So we're done with season 2, and we will be back. I don't know when, but we will keep posting you with the season 3, and we will have different topics, going on. And we always try, to do our best and to bring some good content for all together. So again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for those of you who are watching the recording. Feel free to comment below, on YouTube. You will have all the descriptions that you need on the YouTube description. And thank you. Bye for now.